of calling and taking the theory class because some of them are even keyboard students, guitar students, ukulele also there. So the way we are going to read music is going to be the same for all these instruments. It's kind of a universal kind of a language. When we talk about music, between musicians, you should be able to communicate effectively with each other. So there's a language for it, a vocabulary, a grammar. So what we will see here today is how exactly to interpret the symbols there, how it is represented symbolically, and what are the symbols associated, what are those numbers, what are those lines, and what exactly different aspects of it. You may not know in depth about it, you have a general idea of how exactly music is kind of read and interpreted. Okay, now, so you would have seen an orchestral performance, right? All of you have seen orchestral performance. What happens is there will be all kinds of instrumentalists. You will have violin players, you will have keyboard players, you will have say whatever flute, and you will have some kind of percussion also, banjo or something. All these people are playing in symphony in the sense they're all playing together. How are they able to achieve it? They're all playing in a particular way, where they're all in synchronization. So how that happens is, all of them, if you have observed, they will have stands in front of them, just like how we keep the stands, musical stands, and they'll have a sheet in front of them. They'll be looking at the sheet and they'll be looking at the sheet and reading the music and at the same time playing. At the same time, there'll be a person in the center. He's called as the conductor, and he'll have a stick in his hand. He's making all kind of gestures, right? Kind of waving like a magician is waving his hand. Now, what are those gestures? What exactly is he doing there? All those things we'll just touch upon. Yeah, and then that stick is what we call a baton. Baton. Okay, so what exactly it is, we'll see. Have a look at it. Okay, now. Ankita, just give me. Three of it. Anything related to music has to be put down on paper. It has to be put down so that you can read and interpret. Just like how when you write a letter, you kind of whatever language in which you are writing basically, and you are writing it in an organized way which it can be read properly. Right? Otherwise, if it is written in a way that people are not able to understand, there is no point. Music also is a very methodical way of writing and interpreting. So what we do is anything related to music will be represented or written on a bunch of lines. Just like how you have your ruled notebook. In a ruled notebook, what do? You write whatever, whichever language you are writing in, English, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, whatever, but it is written on a bunch of lines. Same, there is no difference. Music is also written on a bunch of parallel lines. Okay? How many lines? 5 lines. 5 lines. Some of you might have seen it. Most of you know how to read tabs here, right? So tab ledger is for string instruments. But what about other instruments? What about, say, keyboard? What about flute? Or what about saxophone? So they also have a way of reading and writing music. So this musical notation that we are learning is what is known as staff notation. So all musicians in general should know how to read a music. Yeah. Now, what happens is we'll have a bunch of 5 parallel lines like this. All of you are able to see the board now clearly? Then 5 parallel lines. When you think of it, just like a rule note. Not it. Yeah. Now, is here where all your musical notations will be. Okay? Now, so we are already familiar with the note circle, right? All of you know your note circle. All of you know the note circle. What is the very first note? We start with A. A will come A sharp. What are all the natural notes? The white keys on the keyboard. C, D, E, F, G. Correct? And then you have your sharps and flats. You use sharp. You have a C sharp. Okay, these are your, totally you have how many notes? 12 notes. This is what, notes is what we, it's a simplistic way of using the term. We use the term key signature. Key. These are what are known as keys. K-E. Basically, it is associated with pitch. Pitch, you already know what is pitch. High pitch sound, low pitch sound. I've already explained to you in detail what is pitch. So these are your 12 notes. 12 notes is what we have in Western music. In Indian music and some other type of music, we have what is known as micro intervals. But Western music has only 12 intervals, or rather 12 keys. Okay. Now, these are all notes. There is one way of representing it. How do we represent? Supposing we want to say we want to play Happy Birthday, which I have given you there. You have it in your sheet there. Right? Just turn to your Happy Birthday sheet. Happy Birthday, yes, it is there. Fine. Now, do you see any alphabets there that are represented?
Yes, sir.
Do you see any alphabets there? There are the alphabets. There are no alphabets. Okay, only one alphabet I represented there. Apart from it, there are no other alphabets. Correct? So, what happens if you represent it in alphabets is, it becomes very messy. It becomes, you won't be able to read it properly. It will get too confusing. So the best way, or rather the simple way of being able to read anything is symbolic. So we represent notes in terms of symbols. Just like when you are doing, say, a simple addition or multiplication. Say you want to add two numbers, 5 and 5. 5, we have the symbol plus, right? We don't use 5 ADD 5. No. It doesn't make sense, and it will get too cumbersome and it will get too confusing. So we use operators, or rather symbols, to perform any operation. Just that way, in music also what we do is we use symbols. We represent music symbolically. Okay. Now there are different symbols, different ways of representing different notes. The very first note that you are seeing, what I have represented there is basically a circle, correct? Turn to your key signature page. Key signature. Correct? Observe and have a look and tell me. Correct circle. I have represented notes in terms of a circle, right? Circle. It's a small circle on a line. Okay, something like this. Okay. Now, this is how we are going to represent music. Vocal class is downstairs. Vocal class is downstairs. Vocal class is downstairs. So what we do is we represent notes symbolically. Now this is a symbol for a note. Now what kind of note it is, we'll come to it later. This is a musical note which is represented on a line. Now, doubt. See, 5 different lines are there, correct? 5 different lines are there. Notes are represented all over the place. Sometimes on the first line, sometimes in between the lines, sometimes on the second line, third line, so on and so forth. I'll write it the same thing, I'll write it. So these are all, for now you understand it as just notes, musical notes. Okay, what note it is will come to it later. Note value. So this is a musical note. Now what do these 5 lines represent? Now, guitar players don't confuse it with strings. It has nothing to do with strings. It has nothing to do with strings. Okay? So how many lines do we find? We find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lines. This represents pitch. Pitch. Okay? So you already know what pitch is. High pitch sound, low pitch sound, high pitch note, low pitch note. These lines represent the pitch. The higher up the notes are represented on the line, means the note is at a higher pitch. We are not still bothered about how that note is going to sound like, what it is. Sir, no need to write anything around. Okay, so now there are two possibilities or two places where we can represent notes on these 5 lines. Lines represent pitch. High pitch, low pitch. Okay. Now there are two places where we can represent notes. Either on the line or in between line. If you are not understanding following, you can anytime interrupt and ask, have any doubt. Understanding everything so far? No doubt. So you can either represent the note on the line or in between the lines, in the space. So this is line, this is space, this is line, this is space, this is line, this is space. So you find 5 lines and 4 spaces. Right? Now, this is your first note I represented. We still don't know what that note is. The second note can be represented in the space. The third note on the line. Again, space, on, space, on, space, on. All these are musical notes. What they are become. All these are.
Can you have something outside the line?
Where is outside?
I mean, can I have this?
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Outside the line after we will come.
There, so the topmost line has the highest pitch. So the topmost line has the highest pitch.
Highest pitch. Topmost line has the highest pitch so far. Okay, this is the highest pitch, this is the lowest pitch. We still do not know what the note is. Ankita, just give me. Got it? Your akka is not coming up? Okay. Any doubt so far? No doubt. Now these 5 parallel lines are what we refer to as staff. S-T-A-F-F. These are all just names. Staff. We refer to these 5 parallel lines on which notes are represented as staff. Hence the name staff notation. Sometimes it is referred to as staff notation. Any doubts over? No doubt. Now, what exactly is the pitch of this note needs to be determined. Okay. Now, this didn't develop overnight. Then musical composition was being Western music is based in it basically originated out of Europe. So it had a long time of kind of development. So this form of writing music finally it came before only in say the early 19th century. That is when they finalized, okay, this is how we are going to write music. It has to be standardized, universalized. Otherwise, each person writing music in their own way will have a lot of you will not have a standard form, right? If you have a standard form, if I say write write A means you have to write A like this one. If you write it like something else, people get confused, right? Yes or no? So this took its final shape and form, say around 150 years back. Now, the note on the first line is going to be E. E. Okay, we'll come to it. I've given you the. This is going to be what comes after E? What comes after F? F sharp is not there. We are going to go to G. We are talking about only natural notes. That is why it is G. Then comes what? A. Then comes B. Then comes
C.
Then
D. E. F.
stop. Okay. These are going to be the pitch of the notes. F will come to sharp. E. F. A. These are all musical notes. Okay. Look at your sheet. You've seen this symbol, right? That symbol, yes. Ampersand kind of thing. As soon as you see this, what is the first thing that comes to mind? What is the first thing that comes to mind? When you see this symbol, something to do with music. Okay, just see this symbol. You're able to see? You're able to see all of you? Okay, we draw the symbol here. Now there's a way of writing this, drawing this. This is what we refer to as clef, or rather treble clef. Treble, T-R-E-C-L-E, treble. Now I'm not sure how many of you are on your phones. You will have this equalizer. You're seeing your equalizers on phone. No need to write. I'll send notes. Great. Yeah. If you have any doubts, I'll clarify later also. Now, general idea you should hear what it is. It is what is called as treble clef. Okay. Now, in music, what happens is you have low pitch sound and high pitch sound. We have already seen how instruments are classified based on their construction. What are the 4 different classification of instruments? First, you have what string instrument you have. Apart from string, you have what key wind instrument, key instrument, and percussion. 4 types of. So, examples of string instruments are guitar, veena, all these are examples. And then you have your wind instrument, which is flute, saxophone, trumpet, all these are wind instruments. And then we have key instrument, basically keyboard and piano and harmonium. And then percussion, basically drums, tabla, so these are the 4. That is based on construction and how exactly music will work. Instruments can also be classified based on how they sound. Something known as bass instruments, which are going to produce basically very low frequency kind of sound. Boom, 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 boom kind of sound that you listen to. Sometimes the auto players and auto fellows and all, they kind of loudly play music, and you can, sitting inside the house, it is quite irritating actually. That sound is what we call as bass sound. Bass meaning very low frequency sound. And then we have treble. Treble means high pitch, very high. So, keyboard has both bass elements and treble elements. So, the keys to the left are kind of low pitch sound. The keys to the right are all high pitch sound. Okay. Guitar is classified as a guitar, ukulele, and all string instrument is classified as a treble. I will come to bass also. First, we will finish on treble. Treble instrument meaning little. It is kind of a high pitched instrument, medium to high pitched kind of a sound. You can produce with a guitar. Okay. Now, so anything that requires such a sound to be represented, such notes which are kind of medium to high pitched sound is represented on the treble clef. Understood? Treble clef is going to represent basically your guitar, and then flute, right side of the piano, and then bass. The bass is going to be bass clef, and then violin, flute, all these are going to use saxophone, all these are going to use. Okay, understood? This is clear. Now, these are the notes we have seen. Then, if you look at your sheet now, these are all basically musical notes. Now, you can just call them as notes. Notes is a very simple way of, calling it. You will rather use a term, key signature. All of this together is called key signature. Key signature. S-I-G-N-A-T-U-R-E. Understanding everyone? All of you are understanding? No. They are keys. We'll come to Asia. We are just considering the white keys on the keyboard. Later on we'll come to sharp practice. Okay? This is what is called as key signature. Key signature means notes. That's it. Okay? Now, you're understanding all of you? No doubt. No doubt. Okay. All these are called next. Now, if you look at your key signature paper, just have a look at that. Very next to the treble clef, to the right of the treble clef, you see some number there. Something 4. Now, what is that 4 and all this? All of you, can you see? 4. I'll write the same thing. Okay? 4. Something 4 is there. Now, what that is? In music, everything is about timing. Correct? Without timing, there is no music. This number is going to basically determine how fast or slow a song is going to be. Okay? How fast or slow? Say for example. Now, let us take for example. Let us take for example Happy Birthday. You can play the song very slowly. Or you can play fast. speed at which the song has to be played, right? That information is required for us to be able to play any song properly. Some songs are fast, some songs are slow, some are medium paced. That information has to be given to us. See, what happens is when the musicians are performing, especially in a orchestral setup, every city will have its own bunch of musicians, say 50 accomplished musicians. The conductor is the one who is going to direct them. Basically, he's like a music, he's like a director, cinema director. Actors will be all over the place. You can hire whatever actors you want. It's like a cinema. You can hire actors. Say for example, there's a director, James Cameron. He can hire whomever he wants as a part of his movie, right? Depending on the movie and the cast and the story. Same way, a conductor can hire a bunch of musicians to play for him. What they are done is they are given this sheet music. They will have to look at the musical sheet and play the songs. Just like how we are reading of the paper. Same way they have to do that. So for that they should have knowledge and they should also be able to interpret what and all is given here. So two main things in a song. What are the two things that comprise make a song? Basically, what is the song made up of notes, individual notes? All this combination of these 12 notes, they are all over the place. That information has to be given. Right? That information is given. That is one element of it, one aspect. Second variable or second aspect is how fast or slow these notes need to be played. Notes are given. You need to know how fast or slow they need to be played. Otherwise, how will you play? Yes or no? Correct? So that information is given. The number is going to represent what? Speed. Yes, speed. This is going to be speed. Okay. Now speed is a very simplistic way of calling it, just like how notes is a simplistic way of calling key signature. So speed has something to do with what? Time. Time. So we have all done metronome practice, right? You know what the metronome is all. So speed is going to be what we refer to as time signature. We'll come to it in detail. I'll explain in detail what exactly this code for. Time signature. I'll read out for that. Time signature. Okay, that number. What this number is? There is no need to write it. Tell me.
So what if the speed is different in between some part is slow and some part is fast?
That also will come. That also will come. Right? That is where this is going to come. All your different note values. I have given one more sheet now. Time signature and note values, time signature and rhythm. In that part I will explain what it is. Okay? This much you have understood. Any doubt so far? So because what we are going to learn next is going to be dependent on how much you have understood. No doubt so far. Okay, fine. Now, so far we have represented these many notes. Now these are not the how many notes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9 notes. What about the other notes? Supposing you want to represent higher sounds, what will you do?
Also the line.
Outside the line. Okay? So how do you do that? Outside the
You
line.
draw the extra stuff only for that.
Now, where is the plan? Now what has happened here is, only 5 lines are there. But we want
fixed structure.
yes, it's a fixed. Yes, starting is going to be E. It is fixed. It is fixed. You go anywhere in the world. You go to North America, South America, Australia, India. The note on the first line is always going to be U.
So the photo you will see.
I will send everything, sir. Don't worry. I will send everything. I'll explain how to down and it out in regular class. Okay, just to Okay. Now what has happened now is you are exceeding your kind of lines. Now, just like when you are giving an exam, you got your sheet one? Yeah, I know. Okay. Just when we were giving exams, we run out of sheets. What we do, we ask for supplementary sheets, right? All of you would have done that.
Sir, I got some exams, sir.
So, we run out of paper means we ask for supplementary sheet. So here also what we will do is we will take a supplementary line. So one line can be represented on the line, or one note can be represented on the line. On top of it. Now what we do is we draw additional line. We draw one more line to create a new position. So what happens here? This note is going to be here. We can go on adding additional lines how much ever we want. Till the point that your instrument, the highest pitch, what is the highest pitch note you can play on the guitar? The highest pitch note you can play on the guitar, the electric guitar, acoustic doesn't have this. Right? This is aware of this. This is the highest pitch, you cannot play. So we can go on, if you want to represent this note, you can go on adding notes, lines until that point. And the lowest note on the guitar is what you should be able to tell, which is the lowest note.
Open is
Open.
Huh?
no the one string.
Huh? Which tell me, wait, which is the lowest note label of the guitar?
This is the
This is the lowest note possible, right? This is the lowest note possible on the instrument. You cannot go any lower than this unless you change the tune, right? This is going to be F. E, F. Sorry, for you it is very different. You can think of it in terms of you have your same thing.
Will it be open E?
Open E is the lowest note possible on the guitar.
That is the first one.
With the standard tuning, E, A, D, G, E tuning, yes, open string. And the highest note possible is the last fret of the thinnest string. Right? That is the
also the lowest was the first one.
yes, lowest. This is 6. On ukulele it is 4, 3, 2, 1. It is here it is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Same thing. Okay. Good. Now, if you want, you can go on adding additional. So this is going to represent. Now, as you can see, it is like a staircase, right? Like going up, slow. So this is naturally at a lower pitch compared to this. Both these are at a lower pitch compared to this. All these are at a lower pitch compared to this. Any doubt so far? No. Same way as you can represent notes higher up, same thing can be done in the opposite direction. You want to represent lower notes, you can do that also. How do we do that? You do that by here you can represent a note here, right? On the line. Correct? Then now again here also we have run out of lines. So what do we do? Exactly. So we can add a additional line here and create a new position on the line. C. Okay, so this is going to be D. This is going to be C. So piano people sitting here, you already know what it is. Middle C. So keyboard, what happens is keyboard is divided into two halves. Left side we have C. So basically, this is a small keyboard. So this is an example. With your keyboard. Are you able to see all of you? Now, this is your what we call in keyboard as middle C. Center C. No need to write anything. We both listen. I'll send notes. Listen. This is called middle C. This is the center of the keyboard. Now, on guitar also, where this note is below. This is C. To the left of this will be the notes will be represented down. We will not go there. We will come to that later. All the notes to the top of it, basically, this is going to be C. This is going to be D. This is going to be E. This is going to be F, G, A, so on and so forth. So it goes this here. So F. So after F, you are going to get what? Again G only. Again A, B. Goes on. All white keys.
Normal notation means the middle one.
Sorry.
You mean the normal means if it is not down or above.
Normal in the sense?
Here, this one, the one which starts with your top. That means that the middle picture.
Middle pitch. This is C. This is what we call as center C. It's a reference point. We need some reference points now. So we have to fix a reference point with which music is all mainly relative. In the sense, but one do music, we have to fix a note. With reference to this, anything is reference to context. In that sense, if I E key come on there, if you take this key, with reference to this key, this is at a higher pitch. With reference to this key, there is a lower. Basically, this is going to be center point. So we are just fixing a reference point. Based on this, we are going up and down. Okay, this is what we call it the treble clef. For treble clef, there we use Illinger. Start from here. Okay, now where is that same note on the guitar? On the ukulele, it's your third string. An open string is there, no? That is C. Yes, exactly. Now that same note on the guitar, this C is here. So if you look at your fifth string, this is going to be what? A sharp, B, C. This is going to be C. Okay, this is going to be middle C. Center C there, what? That is going to be there. Okay, this is going to be a okay, this is going to be C. Observe. This is going to be C. Understood? Okay.
That will be center point. Now the third.
Yes, this one. Yes, that is going to be there. Okay. A string.
Easy.
If again in guitar it will appear in multiple places. If a keyboard, what happens is, see, one note is here. Say if you take E, say you take this E, the next E appears here only. Whereas guitar it is not so. You find the same note in multiple places, same pitch that we have seen. Yes. For example, second string, fifth fret is E. Open is also E. Correct. That is the thing about the guitar. It is very versatile, unlike keyboard. Will I'll explain to you in detail. Okay. Okay, understood this much? No doubt.
So the keyboard has a little pitch, but the pitch is not too versatile to say. Guitar has very high and very low. Is it like that?
It depends on the keyboard. For example, this Yamaha keyboard and all, it had 61 keys. More the number of keys, more the octaves, more the range. Guitar has a very big range. It's a very big range. So you have 6 octaves is fine.
So when all the musicians have to play together, so which one the guitar is playing?
All instruments, fine.
They all play together. So the guitarist has got so many options.
Guitar, he can choose, it is up to him. He can play, say for example, if you want me to play the note E, the note E can be played in multiple places. This is also E. Observe. Okay. Where and all you find E, you can open E. E. This is also E. This is also going to be same note, same frequency. You can play it in multiple places. Choice is ours. That is what gives us versatility. If you're not understanding, that's fine. You just at least 10% you should understand it. You're not going to get everything. That's fine. Okay, now understood this one. Okay, next we'll go to the next one. So now if you look at your musical sheet, you look at your key signature part. Key signature, all of you, have a look at key signature. Key signature. We'll come time signature next. First we'll finish off key. Key. Okay. I'm not going to read it. If you do not know how to read it, this is your fault. Okay, key signature. Now, we divide music into small sections. Just to keep it organized. Now, each such section, there's a line after, there's a line here. So we have divided it into three small parts. Correct? Yes or no? See? 3 parts. Any doubt? 3 parts. Now, this is basically one part. You can think of this as one part, which has so many notes, but here there is only one note. So each such part is what we refer to in music as a bar, B-A-R, or a measure. B-A-R or measure. So, most of you will know already what a bar is, right? You know what a bar is. Bar is the smallest section of a given piece of music. This is basically 1 bar, this is 2 bars, this is 3 bars. See, when it comes to music, everything has to be organized. Then only you can read and interpret what is there. If it is all over the place, if it is like when you are writing a letter, if you write without punctuation marks, if you write without commas, if you write without inverted commas, it will not make any sense. Or lines between paragraphs, it will not make sense. So, same way we organize music in a way in which it can be read in a way that is understandable and simplified. First of all, it looks like Greek and Latin very complicated. We are trying to simplify it as much as possible. So each such section is known as a bar. So a bar comprises of, what does it comprise of? It comprises of all the musical notes. Janvi, understanding? Getting it? No. If you have any doubt, ask me. So it comprises of key signature. Key signature is basically notes, and it comprises of time signature, meaning the speed at which the notes have to be played. Okay, it is going to be common. Key signature is going to be common throughout. Sorry, time signature is going to be common throughout. Key varies depending on what notes you are playing. Some bar will have some notes, say 1 bar might have C, another bar might be F. It depends on what song you are playing. Okay, this is clear. All of this together is called as a bar. We will be using the term bar. Okay, understood? Now, No doubt.
So
Okay,
how
fine.
can your time signature be the same throughout the song? Because some parts are faster.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. That is where key signature will come to that. Key signature. We'll come to that. Okay. So again, what he says is a very valid point. What he says is not all songs are going to be constant throughout. Speed is going to vary. Now how do we deal with that? When we have already fixed the speed. We've already fixed the speed. Now that coming to that speed. Now if you look at your key signature, there is something 120 number there. This kind of symbol is there. Can you see that? 120. Now what does that 120 signify? It signifies what is known as the tempo. T-E-M-P-O. You have heard of the word tempo? Not lorry tempo. Tempo. Correct? Tempo. Tempo is basically going to be your metronome speed. All of you are familiar with metronome already, except few. Who is not familiar with metronome? Raise your hands. Only you. Okay, fine. I'll call you attention. Okay? Metronome. So metronome speed is going to determine what. Any one of you have your phone? Just switch on your metronome. So you already know what metronome is. Metronome we have used for practice, for shifting chords, for playing scales with your piano. Give. Switch on the volume. So now right there tempo is 120. Now if we set at 120, see what is going to happen. And here time signature I have set as 4/4. For your practice, I had asked you to keep it in 1/4. 4/4 also, okay, what is that 4/4 means? Keep it at 4/4 now. And I'll press it here. So 120. So how do we count this as? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Meaning every bar, every such bar will have 4 beats. 4 beats. You already know what a beat is. Basically, this clicking sound is a beat. Every bar will have how many beats? 4 beats. Now, this is what we refer to as common time. C-O-M. Common time. The most widespreadly used time signature is 4/4. There are different types of time signature. If you check, if you have experimented with your metronome, you find 5/8 and 3/4 and 12/8, and you have all kinds of time signatures. Those are all complex compound time signatures.
16.
16. You have various time signatures, but 4/4 is what we are dealing with right now. We focus only on 4/4. Okay? Now, what does this number represent? And what does this number represent? This you always had in your mind. You have always been asking me, which I have been telling you. I will tell it later. Today I am going to tell you what. Okay? Now, the number on the top represents how many beats are there in a bar. Number of beats in a bar. What is a bar? This is the bar. So this bar will have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is one bar. Next bar will have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is going to be constant throughout. It is not going to vary. And the speed of the count is going to be dependent on the tempo specified. Okay, same thing. Give me one. Understanding? So far? No. Understanding, man. You are sitting in the last. Don't
So
do that.
what's the second one?
See, now we can increase or decrease the speed by turning the metronome clockwise and anti-clockwise. Say if I keep it at 60, half the speed. So 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what will be the count? Okay, we can increase.
It will be 4 only.
4 only for now. There will be only 4 beats in a bar. In a bar, there will be 4 beats.
So what's the bottom for?
Bottom 4, that is what we are talking about. Bottom 4 is going to be what kind of a note we are playing. Note value. Note value. Note value. Now what does this, first time you will think what is the note value? Now what is this note value? This is where you ask no man. Home. Note value. This is also going to determine how many notes we will be playing in a bar. Again, see, determining of speed is by 2 factors here. One is by note value. We'll come to that. And then the overall speed of the song, tempo. Okay, now what is that note value? Now if you turn to your time signature and rhythm.
Tempo with 120 means 120.
120. You are setting a metronome at 120. That's what it means.
6 seconds. 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 6 seconds.
120 beats per minute. Meaning for every 1 second you are going to get 2 clicks. Right. For every second you are going to get 2 clicks. If it is at 60 BPM, for every 1 second you are going to get 1 click. If it is at 30 BPM, for 2 seconds you are going to get 1 click. Right? Well, what it means? Now, okay, now let us come to this note value. Now, all of you just don't. Okay. Time signatures. Look at the note value. Now, there are different types of notes depending on how long or how short they are. Okay. Now, the first type of note that we have represented here, the circular note. Have a look at that. Circle. This is one type of a note. Then the next type of note is this: a circle with a line like this. Okay. Then one more type of note. Are you able to see, all of you? Then one more type of note is a circle with a line with the circle darkened. Like this. Circle is darkened, correct? And then one more type of note is same thing, but now it has kind of an extension like this here. Correct? Are you able to see? Huh? Are you able to see? Able to see. And then finally there's one more type of note where you have a darkened circle and then you have two lines. Okay? Time signature. Turn to time signature. Time signature. Correct? You find all those notes here. Fourth one is there, it is there. It's okay, right. It is joint kind of. You look at the fifth line, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line is kind of, two lines are there, that's what it means.
Then it's put a curtain.
You're not able to see. Okay. Now what? Talk.
The floor also.
It is you who wanted to do it. You know, it was not. Okay, go. I said 1 hour. Go. Don't it. I'm not going to issue again. Okay, under this, okay, now the first type of note is what we call as, you look at it is called semi-breathe. SEMIBREVE. Okay, then the second type of note is what is called as minim. We will come to what it is. I'll explain in detail what it is. MINIM. Now, what are all these names? And then what do you have? You have something known as? Yes. And then you have something known as QUAVER, and finally you have a semiquaver. Semiquaver. So we already know there are 4 beats in a bar. Count is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what is a semiquaver? You will just listen to what it is. Okay. Now, I have set the metronome. Metronome speed is given at 60 BPM. Okay, 60 BPM. Tell me if you are able to listen. Is it audible? A semi-breve or a full note is basically a note that lasts for the entirety of a bar. For 4 beats, there will be only one note. Count is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and the note will last for the entirety of the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only one note is being played. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I have to represent it here, how does a semi-breve look? Observe. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 lines are there. Now, the symbol for a semi-breve, I'm representing the note E, the same note I'm representing. Okay, so there's a click here, there's a click here, there's a click here, there's a click here. So this note is going to last for 4 clicks. It starts on the first click. 1, 2, 3. Here. Any doubt? All of you. Understood? You have any doubt, man? Click. Understood? So what is happening here? Only one note. For how many clicks? 4 clicks, only one note. 4 clicks, one note. Okay. This is what we call as semi. Okay. Next, we'll come to minim. What happens in minim? Before that, now what is the duration of semi-breve? How many beats? 4. Just to make a mental note. Correct? Beats go to be 4. Now, next let us come to half note. So we call the semi-breve as full note also. Full note. Full mean what? Means what?
Whole bar.
Whole bar it is going to play. Or the whole bar it is going to play. Okay. Now next we have what is known as half note. Even though this is very important for guitar, keyboard, everything, this is more important than knowing how to read this. This is very, very important because based on this only, if you want to do recordings and all, there have been many recording, who and all has done recordings here, they have a little knowledge of all this, right? So it is very important. Otherwise, we will not be able to record. We won't be able to play with backing tracks. We won't be able to play with other guitarists. We won't be able to do, kind of. If you want to do a jam session, you want to play with other musicians, it will be difficult. You don't understand. It's very important. Yeah. Now, what is a half note? Half note, the duration of a half note is going to be half of this. Meaning, there will be 2 notes in one bar. Here, in one bar, you have only 1 note. In a minim or a half note, you have 2 notes per bar. Number of notes are doubled.
But that will be an alternate or it can be
Alternate. One will be on beat 1.
beat.
Because there are only 4 beats in the kind of time signature we have considered. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So a symbol is going to change accordingly. This is going to be semi-breve. For minim, what is going to happen? So for minim, what we are going to do is, so this is beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. This is going to be minim. There are 2 minim standards. There are 2 half notes in a bar here. Understanding? Understanding, man? Kind of. Or you come here. Come to the front if you are not able to sit. Come here and sit. Come. What would you, my mother? You are chatting with him. Understanding? Have any doubt? Ask him.
So can you explain the last one again?
This one.
Yeah.
This one. See. Here, what has happened in the first part? First part, there are only 1 note per beat per bar. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is represented by this one. Doubt? No doubt. Okay. Now this one. What is happening here? You have 2 notes. Number of notes has doubled up. Whatever was 1 has become 2. Everything will develop as we go on. So beat number 1. So this is going to be what? Minim. Understood? So this is the symbol for minim. Basically, the duration of this note is for 2 beats.
So in each bar there will be
No, in each bar there will be 4 beats. So there are 2 notes.
So in full note there will be
Only 1 note. There will be only 1 note. 1, 2, 3. The full note. One more time, I'll explain. All of you listen carefully. All of you listen. This is your full note. 1 bar, 1 note. 1 bar, 1 note. The duration of the note is for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Don't worry about any other time signature. Only 4 beats are there in the kind of music that we are going to play and learn now. 4 beats, that's all. Fixed. 4 beats are there in a. So, in your semi-breve or full note, every bar is going to contain only 1 note. Okay? Now.
Sorry. This strumming pattern has nothing to do with
The
this.
strumming pattern has everything to do with this.
So therefore I'm asking.
Will come. Okay. So here, so you have two beats, you have two notes for the entirety of the class. Now let us come to this project, this one. Now, so everything is doubling up now, correct? So beat number 1, beat number 2, beat number 3, beat number 4. So what we will do is, what is the symbol for crotchet? Now this is the symbol for a note. The note has 3 parts. Okay, explain this. Listen. The note has 3 parts. Okay? It has this circular part here, and it has the line here, and then this extension. This circular part, observe all of you. This circular part is what we call as head. H-E-A-D, head. Okay? Circular part is what we call as head. It is called as head. Understood? Circular part is called head. This vertical line is what we call as stem. S-T-E-M. Okay? Stem. And then this extension is what we call as a flag. F-L-A-G. So it has 3 parts. Now depending on what kind of a note it is, some of it will contain it, some of it will not contain it. Now, full note will contain only the head, which is inside it is not darkened, it is empty. A minim will contain a circle, it will contain an element of the full note and the stem. The crotchet will contain a darkened head and a stem. A quiver will contain, additionally it will contain a flag. These are the symbols. Understood?
So what's the difference between a darkened circle head and a non-darkened circle?
That's what. Symbol. We have to symbolically we have to distinguish now.
Oh.
If it is not darkened, it is a minimum half note. We have seen.
Oh.
If it is darkened, it is going to be what we call as a quarter note. Look at the pitch there.
There is a minimum
Just listen. Try to understand as much as possible. All the doubts are clear. All the doubts are clear when you are in your individual class. All the doubts are clear. Okay. Just listen to. You just need to get familiar with the terminology. Nothing else. Okay. Now listen. All of your understanding. Now next. Now observe. Next we have we'll wind up in another. Next. Now this is a crotchet. So what is going to happen here? There are 2 notes in a beat, in a bar. In a crotchet means you are going to get 4 notes. So, and the symbol is also accordingly going to change. It will be a darkened circle. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Yes. No. Let me play that. So this is what we call as a quarter note. On every beat you have a note. You count it as 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, any doubt here? Very clear. Doubt. No. Okay, fine. Final. Next. This is what we are referring to. So full note is called, it has minimum is what we call as half note. Crotchet is quarter note, 1/4. Next we have what kind of note? Next. So what is 1/4 divided by 2? 1/8. So this is going to be beat 1, beat 2. Beats will remain constant throughout. 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to remain constant. Okay, now what we are going to do? We are going to get what is known as okay. So we are going to get how many such notes in one bar? 8 notes we are going to get. Right? 8 notes. Sir, coming to your question. Strumming pattern is this only. Okay, so this is 1. So every beat will contain 2. Correct? 2 notes. So we have kind of 8 elements or 8 notes here.
That is down of this control.
Strumming, exactly.
So the end, one.
No, it's not. Not. Okay, now coming to 8 note. So how is it going to be? You have 8. So see, time, this is constant. For now, in this we'll set it at 60. The number of beats is constant, yet the speed has increased, right? Speed has increased how? Because the note value is going on decreasing. Correct? We started with only one single note. Then what was the single note became 2 notes. That became eventually 4 notes. Now that has become 8 notes. Understood? Okay. Now the way in music, no, keeping count of anything is very, very important. There's a way of counting all this. Now, notes are counted as, let us compare first one full note. Have a look at the full note. Whenever there's a metronome click, we count it as 1, 2, 3, 4. That is going to be constant throughout. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the second one. 1. Now half note. 1, 2, 3. Constant. 1, 2. The note is being played on beat number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of you observe your second line. Second line you observe. Second bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let us come to the quarter note. So on every beat there is a note. So the way we are going to count it is because there is a note on there is a strum or a key, whatever, doesn't matter, depending on the instrument. So we count it as 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now let us come to the 8th note. So in 8th note, how many notes we have? How many totally how many notes we have in 8th note? 8 notes we have. Now the way we are going to count it, observe. All the beat notes will be counted as 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we have a note in between. So we have to assign it a special character. The way we are going to count it is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the second note which falls in between the beat is going to be assigned a special character called and, ampersand. So we count it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which we already done it in our strumming pattern. The second strumming pattern is basically what we refer to as note. Understood? We count it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Any doubt? Finally, one more we will have a look at and see. What we can do is, if you are looking at the 4th line, no? Whenever it is such notes are being played, we can join both the flags and make it into a single so that it is organized. So you can tell that this is one pair. So we are going to rub off the individual flags and combine both. That's all. This is what is referred to as beaming. B-E-A-M-I-N-G. Beaming is when you combine flags. Beaming. So this is one pair, this is another pair, this is another pair, this is another pair. We'll have a look at one last final type of note and stuff. Okay? Understood? Any doubt so far? No doubt. Okay. Finally, we have what is known as 16th. 16th note means, as the name suggests, you are going to get 16 counts, 16 such notes in one bar. Look at your number 5. So for every beat, here for every beat you have 2 divisions, 2 notes, correct? 2 notes, fractions, mathematics, that's all, nothing else. 2 notes you have for every beat. 16th note will contain, every beat will contain how many divisions? 4 divisions. So 1 by 8 by 2 is going to give you 60. 1 by 60. So 16 notes is going to be, see, beat is constant. 1, 2, 3, 4 is constant. The number of notes we play per beat is also going to determine how fast or slow a song is. Okay? Apart from the overall tempo. So there are 2 aspects when it comes to governing of speed.
On a beat there will be 4 notes.
4 notes, exactly. 4 notes in 16. That's what they're going to have. Number of notes are ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ವಾ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಸೊ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಬೀಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ 1 note. So okay, I'll repeat and write it here. beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll join all the flags together. And then 1, 2. We are keeping the pitch of the note constant. It is E only. It is this E only. Okay, pitch will vary also sometimes. We don't know, depending on the song. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. This is another set. This is one more set.
Don't you have to draw one more flag? So one more flag.
One more flag, 2 flags. So 2 flags. So 16th note is going to contain 2 flags. So that is why it has 2 lines. So we are going to have one more line there. So it represents 16. Understood?
Yeah, what is the second line?
Second line is this. See, a semiquaver or a 16th note will have 2 flags. A 8th note or a quiver will have only this 8th note. Will have only 1 flag. 16th note will have 2 flags. So we are beaming it so that it is organized. Instead of writing it individually separately, we are beaming it like this. And counting for this, see, this is going to be beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, this 1, 2, 3, 4. The same as this 1, 2, 3, 4 is the same as this one.
In better, this explain stuff like this.
16 note we haven't done for you. 16 note strumming pattern also I'll be teaching. Okay, so the count is going to be like this. We are going to count it like this. 1 is going to be beat number. 1. The second note we will count it as E.
And
1 E and A. We count it as 1 E and A. Okay. Now those who have learned Hotel California, Hotel California has learned. This is very important. Pay attention. Okay. Then this is going to be 2 E and we have to assign a name to the count now. You have to give it a name. Otherwise, how will you be counting? This is going to be 3 E and 4 E and no doubt. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So when I play this, 3 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and ukulele is very important when you learn. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Without doing anything to the tempo, we are playing faster. Now we can again change the tempo and make it fast. That is also there. That is, you can think of it as master volume control, and you have smaller volume control. Kind of have a big tuning. In older times, we used to have this radio. We used to have a big knob and a smaller fine tune. You can think of the note value as fine tuning. You can think of that as the master. Okay.
so there is number of beats.
No. The speed, the interval at which each beat comes. 60 BPM means for every 1 second you are going to get
That
tempo.
so the bottom four is the
bottom 4 is this note value.
Yeah.
So this is semi-breve is going to be full note, minimum is going to be half note,
Yeah.
quarter note, 8th note, 16th note. Understood? This is clear? This is what I want. Regarding so entire thing has to be looked at in one kind of a thing. So time signature has its own importance, key signature has its own importance. Now the third sheet I have given you a happy birthday. One more before that I just wanted to regarding the sharp notes and the flat notes. What about sharp and flat? We have not spoken about it. Key signature. Just turn to your key signature. There is no special place to mention any sharp or flat. There is no special kind of a place. What we do is if you want to represent a F sharp, we simply mention a sharp in front of the note. That's all. We simply mention a sharp. You have seen, correct? In Vande Mataram. We simply mention the sharp signal, sharp sign in front of the note. Means you play F sharp. That is what it means. If there is nothing in front, that is all it means. It doesn't have any special position. This is just one half of the musical staff we have had a look at. There is also one more bass clef, which if I take, it will take another 1 hour, which I am not going to do now. Probably we will have one more time later. We will have one more class. The basic. Okay, understood? So you have key signature and you have your time signature, and then this entire thing is what we call as a bar. A song will have so many parts. You have already seen it might contain as low as Happy Birthday as what 7 bars to long song can have hundreds of bars. Okay. asking a valid question. Observe. If you look at the fifth bar, the second note there, third note there, birth, it's just turn to your happy birthday melody. The stem is going downwards. It is not up. Rest of all the notes are upwards. Here, the stem is going up, down, coming down. Correct? Observe.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Which one? Red, sir.
Happy birthday, bar number 5. Again, one more thing, all of you, observe, just observe. Bar numbers will be mentioned on top of the musical notation. Okay? This is bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4. Small numbers will be mentioned. Okay? Now, if you observe, look at bar number 5. She has asked a question. Why is the stem pointing downwards, not up? So what happens is, as you move up the staff, what happens? The pitch is increasing. Now, if I represent the line like this, it goes even more up. So it becomes very messy and inconvenient to go up. So instead of that, we drive down. It is exactly the same note. It is the same. It is just two ways of representing. If you draw it upward, meaning, see what happens. This, if you draw this upward, the line ends up here. Say, supposing there is a note here, you drive even more up. It goes up in the spaces and kind of, it makes it very messy.
So, but then it means the same.
It means exactly the same. You have to just have a look whether it has a stem and it has a head. Every
So
note will have a head. Whether the head is darkened,
So it will have a reverse hand.
not reverse
But I mean, like, how will you?
head. Reverse head at all is not there. Circle will have. Is there a reverse for a circle?
No, sir. I meant like, see, if you have a whoever that will be represented like that, then how will the head be? I mean, sorry, which side will the flag be? Sorry. I got
Flag will go like this.
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant.
Flag will go like this. Just opposite, mirror image. Okay.
So,
Okay. You want that stem to stay within the staff. That is what it means. Okay, now I have given you a happy birthday kind of a sheet. Now what I want you to do is slowly at home. At home, you can just compare it with your one more worksheet I have given, that is key signature. Compare, and I want you to write down what pitch it is. Each note, what kind of a pitch it is, what kind of a note it is. Done. Okay. It's an exercise one.
Speed is already given.
Speed is already given. Everything is there. Everything is there, and time signature also. Regarding rest, I have explained only actually for lack of time. I have explained only one half. We have to deal with the rest and all that we will do in a special class on that. What note is this? What is the pitch of this note? We have seen now here. What note is that? That is C, no? That is what it means. We will see. Okay. We'll do the first line together so that you can do the rest of the notes. Now, open up. Wait. Just keep these two together. Sign signature, you can keep it that side. These two together. Nearby to each other. Okay, all of you. Now, what is the first note going to be?
C.
It is going to be C, no? This note. Correct? It is on the. One more thing I wanted to mention. Did I mention about ledger lines? These lines, these extensions, the additional lines they are going on drawing, supplementary lines. This is what we refer to as ledger lines. L-E-D-G-E-R, ledger lines. Some of the, stamp notation will have this. You can go in either direction. This is also a ledger line. Ledger. Okay. Ledger line. Now, what is the very first note?
C.
Good. What is the note after that? Have. That is also C. What is birth?
D.
D. What is day?
C.
Good. What is two?
F.
Yes. One more thing, one shortcut I will just teach you. Now observe, there is an easy way of remembering. Easy. You may not even have a look at the note there. Now there are two types of notes. We'll wind up in another 5 minutes. Okay? Let's observe. One. Observe. Now there are two types of notes, right? One on the line, one in the space. Correct? This is on the line. This is one on the line, 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 in the space, in the space, in the space, in the space. Correct? Now, what are the notes on the line? Go on, tell me. What is the first note on the line?
G.
Then.
G.
Then.
B. B. So you start.
Wait. Then.
F.
Some of them don't. Okay. Then, for you it is important because they are going to appear for examination. The more you listen, the more you know. Then, what are the notes in the space?
F.
F.
A.
C. So there are two types. Face, easy to remember. Face, F-A-C, mukha, face. Then E, G, B, D, F. So we can make a acronym out of it. So we will take the first letter of each word. We will take the first letter and make a word out of it. E, we will call E as every. Okay? Every. G as good, good. B as boy, doesn't. D as doesn't. F as fight. Every good boy doesn't fight. So the notes on the line: E, G, B, D, F. Notes in the space: F, A, C, T. Every good boy doesn't fight except Raghu. Correct. Every good boy doesn't. Easy. F, A, C. Notes in the space. That is a different. That's a different F. That's a higher pitch F. This F you are talking about, right? Okay? See, this is also F. Yeah, that's a valid question. Observe. This is also F. Okay, and this is also F. But this is a higher pitch. It's next octave. We've already seen what an octave is. Same notes, 12 semitones apart. Tones and semitones.
Here the E is at the north.
Exactly. Opposite things will happen. Understood? This is very important. Very, very important. Okay? If you have any doubt, you can ask. I'll clarify it. Actually, we have done. I actually planned to cover much more. Rest and all are there. And even the base cut is there. Probably we do it in a separate class. Okay? Yes.
So where did you pick out food?
Huh? Print out. It is for you only. It is for you. Keep it in file. Keep it in a folder. Okay? It is for you only. That is a given. Keep it. File it properly and keep it carefully. Okay? Okay. Fine. Huh? Any no doubts, right?
So this
Yeah, we
octave
know.
in the guitar, so how do we know which octave to play? Lights and keys. Here.
Or now it is. Guitar, you have many possibilities, unlike keyboard.
So which should be guitar on, I mean,
Which that is up to us. It is up to how the song is going to flow. You want to play it, you can. What kind of note are you? Where exactly? What section of the song you are playing? That is going to determine.
So, but also the thing is in guitar, it is not, we don't do it like according to
Let's say for example, let us take Harry Potter theme. Let us take Harry Potter. There's an open lead. We have done Edwin theme for you. Done it for you. Okay, there's an open beat. Go there. Now, this is also B. This is the higher pitch. This is the lower pitch. Somewhere else here do we find the same B? Go to B, A, lower pitch. So it is up to us to decide where exactly you want to play. You want to play in this octave or some other octave. Same thing with E also. Supposing you want to start with the E, open E. There's a song we start with open E. Play the E here and play the E here. Depends. Or you want to play it in a higher octave. Okay, that is the thing. It depends on the song. No, it should be. You can play the same song in different octaves, but the notes should remain the same. And E, see, when you are singing, you can sing in Madhyasthai or Tarasthai or Mangalasthai, but the notes should be the same. Okay, it depends on our comfort. When it comes to vocals, how are you? Okay? Yes.
Say, what about chords?
Chords we have to learn bass. Bass clef. We'll learn it sometime. Chords is represented in audio interface is going to act like a sound card. It's going to provide very low latency meaning as soon as you say the note, you can play so many of them. Half of them did. It is super important. Don't buy it now. I tell you first to understand about this. When you do a recording, you will understand about this. Then you can buy. I tell you which to buy, which not to buy. I'll send it. Okay, not some of it. I'll send it.
Sixth fifth.
We work for neuro. ಇದು 8 note rest sir. So rest ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ see ಇವಾಗ music ಅಲ್ಲಿ take music ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು notes. So ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಲ full ನೀವು song any song you take will not be playing it continuously. You will give some gaps. So each note will have its corresponding rest. So ಇವಾಗ ಈ symbol ಇದೆ. Rectangle ತರ which is pointing downwards. It is going to represent that means you are not going to play anything for the entirety of the part. Half note rest ಅಂದ್ರೆ for 2 beats you are not going to play. So like half note followed by 2 beats. Then here you have what is known as 8 notes. 8 notes is out there. I'm going to not be playing for part note rest.
Yeah.
8 note rest you not be playing for 16 note rest you will not be playing for